Everybody, hello, hello, hello. Just letting you all get logged on. Looks like everybody's logging on. Hello, howdy, hi. Can you guys hear me?
Hi, Patti. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. Made it another year. Traveled around the sun again. How's everybody doing? I survived it. I got two really nice gifts from my boyfriend. He got me, for those of you that know what La Crusade is, a butterbell, a La Crusade butterbell. So it helps keep my butter soft and safe to eat. Keeps it contained, if you will. It's an old school way to contain butter at room temperature. There you go. So he got me one of those, and he got me actually a power supply battery bank so that I can run Starlink and work from anywhere for at least 3 days. So, hey, I was really excited about that. But other than that, I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do anything. It was very quiet. Two of my kids threw together dinner at the last minute. Um, so it was kind of funny. I was like, okay, whatever. But it was nice, and we had our Thanksgiving last Saturday, so that was nice. Um, yeah, thank God the kids saved the day. Other than that, I didn't do anything. To be honest with you, I took myself to go see Wicked 2, and I had my grandson with me, so it was $80 because we sat in the D box seats that rumble you and make you feel like you're moving or whatever. Okay, he's 11. I saw Wicked 1. I remembered in the first 20 minutes of Wicked 2 why I didn't like Wicked 1. So I took a nap. And with popcorn and drinks and the D box seats, it was $80 for me to take a nap. Twice my grandson woke me up by just touching my hand, saying, Grandma, you paid for this. Wake up. So it was pretty funny. You know, what are you going to do? But other than that, it was pretty quiet, normal. I don't know. My birthday's always fallen on or near a holiday, so everybody's always been busy, friends, family, etc. And it's just another normal day to me. I didn't even eat cake yesterday. I mean, I go to other people's parties and they're much different, but mine doesn't happen that way. So I hope that makes sense. Um, okay, I see other things going on. It was a bumpy nap. I just went to sleep. I was like, okay, okay. It was cute though when my grandson, Grandma, wake up. You paid for this. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I watched another 10 or 20 minutes and then went, no, I'm just going to take a nap. Wake me up when it's over. He laughed at me. He did laugh at me. Yeah, wake me up when it's over. So I took an $80 nap. That's what I did for my birthday. Yeah. Uh, what do you do on your birthday? How I slept in a D box seat. I have no idea. It's rumbling and moving, and I was out. All right. I see Erin's on here, and she's going to share with us probably some not so wonderful things. Maybe she'll stay quiet. I hope you share. That way, we're all on the same page reading the same book. At more bureaucracy and bullshit from the powers that be. Go figure. Um, Other than that, does anybody else have anything that they would like to speak about today?
Hey, Patty, can you walk us through? It's not clear to me the LA RSO 1% February increase that the city council did that pass?
Yes.
Okay, so as of February 1st, 2026, we can only raise rent by 1%.
No,
Okay.
I don't have a definite date yet. Okay. They're saying that it should implement on March 1st. There is a huge argument that all of you still have a certificate saying how good that price is for, and it's June 30th.
Mm.
Okay, so you understand what I'm saying is there's an argument now happening is you already have a certificate telling you when that price is good for. So there's this huge argument going on. How that's going to come out is in litigation. How that's going to be ruled as, I don't know. My crystal ball's broken. So with that said, and your numbers are wrong, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not 1%. So I want to reiterate that so everybody understands. What is she talking about? Just so everybody gets it, LA City Council has voted to change the LA RSO rent increase structure. The structure. Okay. I don't have what it was memorized off the top of my head. I do have what it is now. Okay. So erased what I don't need anymore, and going forward, I can tell you what it's going to be when it's implemented, whether that be March 1st of 2026 or July 1st of 2026. That is still being argued. And I explained why. You have a certificate that says the price is good through June 30th, and now the law changed and they want to implement it, and they're saying March 1st. Hey, wait a minute. Okay? So that's happening. So I don't have a definite date that this is going to take place. It could take effect as soon as March 1st. Okay? With that being said, here's what I know. In LA City, we could charge the CPI. Okay? Whatever the CPI was. Okay? Plus, we could charge 1% for if we paid water and trash, and 1% if we paid like electric and gas. Okay? So, with that being said, we lost the opportunity to charge an additional percentage of rent for utilities that the landlord pays. It is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. Okay? I know, Erin. We're going to get to that. We'll talk about that. I know that's really important. Erin's like, please get there, Patti. Hurry up. I will, honey. I will. I promise. I will. And you can yell at me at 12:14 if we're not talking about it yet. You yell at me, okay, Erin? Please help me keep on track. Okay. So we lost our ability to charge for an additional percentage for utilities, whatever they may be. Okay. Now that expense pretty much falls on the landlord, or we have to use the utility billing system to pass those expenses back onto the tenant, blah, 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 blah. Big mess. Yeah. Okay. We also lost the ability to charge an additional 10% for unauthorized occupants. On. What does that mean? They're probably going to move in whoever they want. Why? Because we're not successful at evictions for unauthorized occupants in LA County because we can charge an additional 10%. How many people are they going to move into our properties before the judges agree with us? I get you, Arlene. I get you. Maybe it's only for a family member, but we aren't successful in evictions for unauthorized occupants in that city. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want any of us to go test the water. We're going to watch someone else do it. Okay? We're going to sit over here and eat popcorn and we're going to watch them. The other thing that they lost is it's a minimum of a 1% rent increase annually and a maximum of 4% annually. Okay? Minimum of 1, a floor of 1, and a ceiling of never to exceed 3%. No, 4%, right? 4% annually. Okay. What did Patti just say? Patti just said that under LA City rent control, you will never be able to do a rent increase higher than 4%. Ever. Okay, now hang on. They made it so the rent increase amount is 90% of the CPI. So if the CPI is 3%, 90% of that would be 2.7%, 2.7%, 2.8%, something like that. I have to do the math. But basically, it's 90% of whatever the CPI is. Not even the full CPI. Okay? That is what LA City has done. It has passed. Okay? They wanted 60% of the CPI. It finally settled at 90% of the CPI. So winning, kind of. Losing the unauthorized occupants is just going to be a tremendous downfall to us. Tremendous, in my opinion, because we can't do evictions in LA City for unauthorized occupants because we could charge a 10%. Now they're going to tell us, oh, you're going to be able to do that. Yeah, but how much money are we going to spend to get these unauthorized people out, and how long is it going to take? It's not fair to us. That's what I mean. How much money are we going to have to spend to prove that we're right? That's what I'm trying to say. All right, buckle up, buttercups. You aren't going to believe this shit show. You ready? The unauthorized occupant goes in effect when this new law takes over, whether it be March 1st or July 1st. Okay? Okay, everybody ready? The LA County Board of Supervisors may declare a state of emergency for the rain last week. What's happening? That has been put on hold. Oh, Arlene has a date for the unauthorized occupant. It goes into effect February 1. Sorry.
Well, they're waiting for the city attorney to put everything in writing. So everything's on hold, but once it hits, but that's what they're expecting.
Yep. And here's the real shitty part of that. Wait, what are you guys talking about a state of emergency because of this? If they declare a state of emergency, our rent increases get capped. If they say that it's affecting the fire victims, guess what? They're going to extend that 10% rent increase on vacant properties. They're using Mother Nature to their advantage. Why is this happening? Because the enemy is making the rules. Who is on the LA County Board of Supervisors? A bunch of tenant advocates? Just saying. It's LA County, of course they are. Okay, this is when I need somebody else to help me because I can't answer these questions. You guys all speak up. What happened to Catherine Barger? Why is she on board with this? But Barger was supposed to be pro-landlord. Exactly. What did they do? What happened? Was it a ploy?
Yeah, I'm shocked at Catherine Barger.
Did we get bamboozled?
I think so. I'm going to write her. I'm her constituent in Glendale, for whatever good that'll do. But I mean, I am shocked. She has come to our homeowners association meetings out here in Glendale. She talks a good talk, and I was shocked when I saw her potential stance on this.
A state of emergency for what? Did you see all the damage all those floodwaters did to the burn areas in Palisades and Malibu? Did you see all of that mud that ended up in the ocean? Did you guys see that? I didn't either. The hell are they freaking talking about? You guys know about something that I don't, let me know. Okay. Aaron, thank you for laughing at me. Like, did you guys see this? Did you guys see that? I mean, let's start the drama, right? Yeah, I didn't see it either. Let me know. I mean, it rained a lot. I happened to be in Ventura County in Simi Valley during that torrential downpour, atmospheric river. Okay. And there's a lot of hilled areas in Simi Valley. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Topanga Canyon. I mean, that's all right in there, right? Right? You guys paying attention? Boyfriend's mom's street flooded in front of her house. It came up the curb, which he says it does every time there's a big rainstorm, just in front of her house. And it's the way the whole street drains. And we got the grass watered a little further than we wanted to, but that was it. I mean, we didn't have a garage flood. We didn't have a flash flood of mud coming through. I realized there were some areas that did experience some things, but why would we declare a state of emergency for something that didn't frickin' affect us? What in the hell are we smoking? I know. It's only in LA. Huh. 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 Think about it. It's only in LA. I hate to keep reverting back to it, but it's the truth. We're not declaring an atmospheric river in San Diego for flooding. I mean a state of emergency. I said it backwards, you guys. I'm sorry. It's Wednesday. I'm just kidding. But you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Usually when something like that happens, we see flooding. The last time we had an atmospheric river, no joke. No joke. We had problems in San Diego. We had problems in Orange County. We had problems in LA County. And we had problems in Ventura County, all with flooding, all with flash flooding. And this was before the fires, okay? The last atmospheric river that came through. We even had flooding in San Bernardino County. We didn't have any of that this time. It was like we were prepared. We now knew what that meant. I think the last one we had, and I could be wrong, correct me, somebody's going to know more than I do, I promise, because I am just dabbling, but I could be wrong. But I think the last one, the atmospheric river we had before this, before the fires broke out, when we had all the flooding in Vegas. Remember when those rivers were going through the casinos and stuff and through their parking lots? And there was all that flooding in San Diego. Remember that? I think that was the first time Southern California was hit with an atmospheric river. I think the second time was this last time. So if that's the case, this is what that tells me. Yes, we called a state of emergency the last time there was an atmospheric river, but we should have. There was a lot of flooding in a lot of different areas, right? I agree with that. This time, we now know what an atmospheric river means, and we were prepared. It's the Boy Scout marching song, right? So we didn't have as much loss, as much damage. We were more prepared for what that amount of water would do to us, our city, etc. With that being said, I think that we were better prepared and had ourselves better on our feet. Why the city council is voting for a state of emergency might be for the simple fact of hidden the history. We've done this before. There's no need for it. I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm not on the same page. I'm not reading the same book. And I don't know of a good reason as to why. So, with all of that said, let's keep our fingers crossed, our eyes crossed, our toes crossed, and honestly, we'll just keep squeezing our butt cheeks. hoping to hell they don't pass a state of emergency for the atmospheric river that just went through and literally caused very minimal amount of damage because we were prepared. But we'll see what the powers that be feel needs to happen. Ridiculousness. All right. Anybody else have anything? I just feel like I'm yip-yapping. Absolutely. Also, why we're all thinking about being very thankful this holiday season. Could we please put an extra bit of love and thought into those Widget's Way members that aren't in good health this holiday? And make sure that we send an extra bit of love and support in their general direction. I'm just asking those of us that are in good health to share that good health vibe to those of us that aren't in good health this holiday season. We have a short group today, and there is reasons to that beyond everyone's control sometimes. On a single family house.
Patty.
Oh, yes. Go ahead, Arlene.
No, you finish. I just said something I was going to share.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I don't know if anybody is having difficulty renting their places, but I just met a traveling nurse, and she gave me the name of this company called Furnished Findings. And apparently they get, I guess it's almost like Airbnb. You have a furnished place with pots and pans and a couch and a bed and whatever.
Yep.
And so she said she's used them for years and they have good places. So I just thought I'd share that if someone's having difficulty renting their place.
You guys, not if you're having difficulty. Listen and pay attention very carefully, okay? What she just handed you was a honey hole. Okay, why do I say that? Traveling nurses make a shit ton of money. That's why they do that job. No joke. They're clearing over 10 grand a month, I guarantee it. Arlene, would you agree with that statement?
I'm not sure what, sorry, yeah. Sorry,
You're fine. You're fine.
The alarms are going off. Okay.
I know you're busy.
Yeah, I'm okay, thanks. Yeah, I asked her she's in Inglewood, and I just asked her what she's paying, and she said a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, they were getting $2,000 for, and she's in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and they're paying $3,200.
Right, you guys got to furnish them, and there's a way you can do that relatively inexpensively and with really good furnishings by either going to Court Furniture, who does the staging, and renting furniture from them.
But there's also that Hotel Surplus place where they have really good quality stuff for very inexpensively.
Yes. Court also sells their staging furniture as used furniture in some of their warehouses, and there's more than just Court Furniture. There's like 3 of them that do that staging service that offer the used furniture afterwards, and it is a screaming deal. Arlene is correct. Hotel warehouses, things like that. You don't want to put yard sale stuff in if you guys are asking for top dollar rent. It doesn't make sense. You want to put good for good, okay? All right, and that's called Furnished Findings. Everybody write that down. That's a honey hole for us, because if they're sharing that within the nursing community, that's what we want to know.
How does that work for LARSO? How does that work if you have a rent registered property? My property's been vacant since October 15th. We're not getting much traction. I know it's the holidays and it's not the greatest time of year to list, but I'm going to look into this.
You should severely look into this. Number 1. Number 2, the holidays is the best time to have a vacant property. Hear me out. Everybody laughs and goes, what did she say? That's when everybody moves because they have 2 weeks off of work. I know because I've worked in the industry. And for the first 6 years of my career, they said, oh, wait till you get out of vacation rentals and into permanent rentals, because vacation rentals is all about the holidays. And that's how I started in this industry. And everybody comes up, and I worked in Big Bear. So you go to Big Bear for the 4th of July and Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving, and it's the holidays. And we were busy, 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 right? Go into permanent rentals, and guess what? It's the holidays where I'm busy, 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 because everybody's got 2 weeks off between Thanksgiving or between Christmas and New Year's. It's a great time for them to move. They have 2 weeks to do it in. The reality is nobody else is moving. It's the holiday. It's a lot of moving trucks are checked out over the holiday, believe it or not. So it's a good time to have a vacant, okay? What we need to do is work on getting your vacant rented. That's the key. That's the trick. We got to offer apples for apples. What's the competition offering? What are you doing that's a step up, a step better, a little bit less expensive? You got to be somewhere in there. Do you have separate garages? Are you including garage rent? I mean, we could have a whole conversation, Holly. Why don't you call me when this is over, and let's talk about things you can do to get it rented. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we have a property manager actually now. They're screening people very carefully because of our prior awful evicted tenant. So we've had applications, people aren't qualifying, and I'm okay with that.
You know what? That's totally okay. That is completely acceptable. The problem is if you're overqualifying your property for the demographic of the area. Let me give you an example. It's not that way today. It's a bad example in today's society. But let's go back 20 years. You wouldn't charge the same rent in the city of Redondo Beach as you would in the city of Compton.
Right.
Okay?
We're aware of that too. Yeah.
Right. It didn't work for the demographic. So if you can make that work and you're not overpriced or overqualified for the market area, you should be okay. Little quirks you can do, we can talk about that. I just don't want to bother everybody that doesn't have a vacant with all of Patty's little quirks, okay?
Got it.
Especially when Susan's asking me a question, but we can work on little quirks while you guys have me. So let me get Susan's question, Julia's question, and we'll go from there. Hang on. And Holly, feel free to reel me back in if I say any more questions and nobody's speaking up. We'll revisit this in more depth.
Cool.
Single family house not covered under rent control. Does the owner have to pay relocation fees if they want the house back? Under no rent control within the city, the county, or the state? Keyword. Because in the single family home, did you disclose that you're exempt from AB 1482? If the answer of that is yes, most likely no. But it depends on if your municipality has a rule. Example, okay? And I'll use this one because everybody will go, okay, that came out of nowhere. The city of Claremont has enacted their own bureaucracy and bullshit. I don't know what to call it. Ordinance. There we go. There's the word. Their own rent control ordinance. And what it says is it will mimic California AB 1482 as far as that's concerned, unless the owner is doing major renovations or wants to move in or move in a family member, and then the relocation fees will be 3 times the amount of the rent instead of 1 month's rent. Okay, so it depends on what city the property is located in for me to answer that wholeheartedly and give you a rock solid answer. And I'm going to have to probably Google it unless I know it off the top of my head. I do know several cities off the top of my head. And people always ask me, how come you know about this city and not that city? How come you know about that city and not this city? Maybe because I own property in that city. If I own property in that city, I pay attention to the rules, right? Because I need to know what's wrapped around my ankles. So that may be the why when you start asking me. Julia, I know some members have purchased Navian tankless water heaters. Don't forget to apply for the rebate. We got $1,000 back. Shut the front door. You got $1,000 back on a tankless water heater for a rebate?
Yes, I did. Sorry. Can you hear me, Patty? I'm a little sick,
Yeah.
but we got $1,000. I mean, obviously, I don't know what model everyone's buying, but yeah, we got $1,000. They give it to you in either a gift card or you could do Apple Pay.
Okay, so you got little kids, right?
Yes, I do.
Looks like Santa just got some help.
I know. So I was very happy about that. So I know a couple of members have mentioned that's specific brand. I wasn't expecting. I'm like, oh, I'd be happy if we get $50, but hey, you know,
Yeah,
works
right.
out.
Hey, sometimes every little bit helps us when we're bleeding money for insurance and taxes and trash bills and God knows. Right? Every little bit helps. All right. Does anybody else have anything that they want to talk or discuss other than that? Or I can jump back into ways to help rent your vacant property with Holly here.
Oh, Patty,
Oh.
I had a question. I put it in the chat, but if a former tenant zells you like a small amount just because they know what my Zell is, and granted I could change the email, during a small claims case, so obviously not an eviction case, or do the same rules apply? Like if they zell me $1, would I have to start the small claims case all over again?
Potentially, if you don't return payment because they tendered payment and now the amount you're suing for is incorrect, but I don't know that it's that stringent with small claims court. I wouldn't think so.
Okay. Got it. And then my other question was for
Because
another.
there's no notice that's wrong. Makes sense? There's no notice in small claims court that's wrong. And if they paid $50, but they didn't pay the rest of it, you're still suing them for the rest of it.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I went in that downward spiral. I went into multiple downward.
It's okay. I had to go down that spiral with you for a hot minute, and I'm like, wait a minute. There's no notice that's wrong. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
I get very panicked because I know you've mentioned that when a notice is wrong, just because they forget to put a phone number, like the whole thing starts all over, which I mean is crazy to me, and it's really sad, but I just want to make sure I'm doing everything correctly.
I know. And get this right. Okay, let's talk about the changes that have happened to a 3-day pay, rent, or quit in the last 5 years alone. Okay, we have since then had to have an address added of where they can physically pay the rent to. We have had to give a phone number of where they can call within those 3 days. We've had to give them times that they can pay that notice, business hours that they can pay that at that address between those business hours. We have to tell them on what days. Now we've added things as how many bedrooms the property has. How much is threshold rent for LA City properties and those governed by LA City's rules and regulations? Also, now we have to add when the notice was prepared, when the notice was served, and when the notice expires. I'm going to ask you guys something, and I want you to really think about this, okay? If you fill out a notice and you prepare it to serve it, and you're going to physically hand them to them, and they're not there, do you write that date in to hand? Do you tell them wait and write the date in and then hand it to them? I mean, how do you do that? It's bullshit. Okay? It's just something else for them to argue. I don't mean to be this negative Nancy about it, but come on, now we got to put on the notice when it was prepared, when it was served, and when it expires. How do you write on a notice when you handed it to someone? Let alone, wait, when does it expire? Let me count. Okay. It's bullshit. Sorry, my rant is over. I apologize. Rant over. Oh, Miss Melanie, hello. Using Livable, and we normally bill back water and sewer, but the lease addendum says water submetering, and now we have one tenant querying about the sewer charges and don't know how to respond. Tell them you're using the RUB system. Let them talk to Livable and have Livable explain it to them. My tenant has a question about how the utility billing is going on. Sure. I gave them your number. Exactly. You pay them a service. It's not your job to explain to the tenant how it works. Make them earn their money, baby. I'm glad you like that. Anytime I can tell you guys how to make your life easier, I will. I was going to add the rules and regulations as well to explain Livable. Livable has a paragraph that you can add, like a 3-paragraph thing. You can ask them for it. They'll give you the verbiage that you need, and you can just do an addendum set out immediately.
They
Hold on.
send it to all their tenants, Patty,
There-
when you sign up for it. It's a
There-
welcome addendum.
And you want to put it in your lease packet, some verbiage in regards to Livable. So where it says utility payments that the tenants are responsible for, the tenant needs to sign up for Livable and go on that route. I would just put in things of that. They need to sign up on livable.com or whatever the website is, and register their account with Livable. Because those prices are going to fluctuate. It's not our job to keep track of what those fluctuations are. It's their job. That's what we're paying them for, is to make our life easier. And I can't thank Arlene enough for turning us all on to Livable. This has been amazing. I have so many clients that use it. I also have something that I'm looking into right now, and I'm doing a whole hell of a lot of research. And when I say hell of a lot of research, I got monkeys in the middle test driving right now, okay? We are now looking at showing companies where they do some kind of pre-screening for the applicant, the prospective applicant that wants to go look at the property. They take an ID, they verify who they are, they give them a code to enter the property, they limit the time. If something does happen in that time period, they have an insurance policy that covers it. There's all these things going on. But I'm looking at that for some of us that have quite a bit of vacants, or we have a full-time job we can't get away from, and people that need to see it during the week. Aaron's yelling, yes. So currently I'm trying to vet companies that make sense, and I'm test driving the monkeys in the middle. Remember how I said, we're not going to go run into the fire and fight that. We're going to stand back over here and eat popcorn and watch somebody else go through the war. That's what I mean by we're going to stand back and we're going to watch, okay? But I have monkeys in the middle test driving both of these. Well, I've narrowed it down to 2 out of about 6 companies that do a side-by-side comparable. So I have 2 companies going at it toe-to-toe. And I'm not looking at price point at all because they're somewhat very similar. They're all in competition with each other. What I'm looking for is quality, liability, responsibility, and insurance. I mean, what if this person uses that code, gets in, takes it, and now they took possession of the property? Then what? What are you going to do to help me? You know, you let them in, not me. You vetted them, not me. So that's what I mean about if we pay for a service, let them do their job. We can't keep doing everyone's jobs for them. I mean, we've been doing it for way too long already, right? So we have to use those vendors. We're paying them. I'm trying to just help remind you. We're paying them every month to help us. So when something like that comes up and we're not sure what to say to the tenant, send them to the company that's charging them, because you're not. Okay? Make sense? All right, I see something else came through. Oh, yes, Miss Melanie, and yes, Miss Erin. All right, does anybody have anything else? Otherwise, I am going to jump back on with Miss Holly, and we're going to banter about different ways you can help fill a vacant unit. Julia, what do I tell a tenant who is frustrated because he and his wife are divorcing and she's no longer paying her portion? He's mad that he has to do everything financially. There's no recourse for her and would like me to remove her from the rental agreement. My response was, she turns in keys and sign off on the security agreement, but until then, there's nothing I can do. Julia.
That was supposed to say security deposit, Patty, but
I got you. We all understood. We don't care about correct pronunciation and all of that here. We just want to get the message, okay? We don't do domestics here, unfortunately. If she wants to be taken off the lease, she needs to give me notification in writing and surrender her keys to me.
She has given me notification in writing and that she no longer lives there. And I said, okay, sounds good. Well, then you'll go ahead and turn in keys to me, and then you'll sign a form that says you have no further interest in the property, as well as the security deposit. And that's where she's just like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. And I said, okay, well, there's only 2 things I'm requiring. So that's it. So once you do that, then I can...
Do yourself a favor for future reference, and everybody absorb this one, okay? It's to take her off the lease and release her from her liabilities of the rental contract. That's it. We don't mention that we're taking them off the security deposit. The second we tell them they're not going to get that money, they don't want to sign anymore.
So could you repeat what you said or how you phrased it so that way I can put it in my notes?
It's okay. You phrased it best. I used your words. I just didn't mention and the security deposit. It will release you from your responsibility and liability from the rental contract and the rental agreement.
Yeah, but couldn't...
Hold on. The security deposit is part of the rental contract.
Okay.
When you call it out individually, you're reminding them that if they paid any money into that, they're not going to get it back now, and they may not sign. You're not failing to disclose because the security deposit is part of the rental contract. So we need you to sign this to release you from the responsibilities and the liabilities of the written rental contract. That removes you from the deposit as well. We just don't call it out. Because once you tell them you're not getting that money, they're not going to sign. I wouldn't sign, would you?
In this case, okay, you remember but remember the crazy stove, the dirty, gross stove that I sent you? It's this household. So it's really funny because I'm trying to understand the logic, and maybe I should stop trying. She won't sign off on the security deposit, but I told her, you realize that you're not going to get anything back. The way the condition, unless you guys work a miracle,
honey,
you're not getting it back, and you're going to leave owing.
If she doesn't sign off, she becomes financially responsible for damages on the premises.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I told them, I said, I don't get involved in your guys's
domestics. I'm sorry, we don't do domestics.
Okay.
Domestics is from whoever, tenant on tenant, tenant on other resident, husband, wife. We don't do domestics.
Yeah, that's what I informed them. I don't get involved in domestic disputes, household disputes, any of that. So this is what I need if she would like to be removed. And she said that she hasn't. So there's nothing that I can do. And so he said, so I have to pay or else. I said, well, technically, I mean, if you don't want to pay, that's fine. And then everybody will get evicted. I'll start the eviction proceedings.
As it sits now, everybody's getting evicted, and you'll start eviction proceedings because wife hasn't relinquished her responsibility or liability in the property.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Okay,
Can I add to that? I had with my actual eviction, my tenant, the husband, just texted us casually about 6 months before the eviction started that he and his wife had separated, just in text, but nothing formal or anything. So she was still on the lease. He never said remove her. She never reached out to me. She disappeared. And so for our eviction, she was on the eviction paperwork because
and you got a judgment from her. And then look at it this way. If she was on the paperwork and was served, okay, and she didn't file saying, I need to be dismissed, I have no interest in this property, I vacated on this date, I surrendered my key on this date, then she's going to have the eviction judgment against her too.
Oh yeah, she did.
That works.
She
Yeah.
does. As well as the collections, which is coming.
What a nightmare.
Total nightmare.
Okay, we're going to banter and talk about how to rent vacant units, okay? There's something you guys got to understand first and foremost. And you got to basically turn off everything you already know, and we're just going to talk, okay? First and foremost, we are not ostriches. We need to pick our heads up out of the sand and stop listening to what we're being told and look at what's going on around us, okay? What do I mean by that? Everybody keeps telling us, and we hear it everywhere, about this housing shortage and how we need more dwellings and more living space, and that's the problem with homeless. No, it's freaking not. Slow your roll. That is not the problem. We do not have a housing crisis. We have a homeless crisis, okay? Why do I keep saying that? Corporate America sets the standards in our industry for what the price of the market will be, because they keep bumping it up based on what tenants are willing to pay for the product they're providing. See how that works? They provide upscale apartments, high dollar apartments, helicopter landing pads on the roof sometimes. Sometimes they're not that fancy. Sometimes they just have a community kitchen in there and they do cooking classes and things like that. Sometimes they're not even that fancy and they just have a gym and a pool and a little office space. It doesn't matter. They are having a problem with 10 to 15% vacancy rate. 10 to 15%. Some areas are 18% vacancy. They are offering 2 months free rent amortized over a 12-month time period. On a $3,500 rent, that's $500 a month. They're getting a discount. At the end of 5 months, guess what? Or the end of 12 months, then that $500 concession becomes due, right? And we're doing a rent increase of $250. So they get a $750 rent increase immediately. And we're starting to see the repercussions from that because they started implementing those tactics about 12 months ago in November of last year. I've seen 2 evictions get started so far this month based on people not paying that higher rent. 2, only 2. It's not a lot. I have a feeling as we get further down the road, we'll see more of those coming about. But I don't think that's going to work. Pretty much, let's just say it this way. If a tenant has an extra $500 a month and they forget about it 3 or 4 months later, they're going to go buy a new car with that money. Let's face it. Then when that money becomes due, they don't have it anymore. It's that simple. It's what we're seeing happen. It makes sense, the scenario I gave. I'm not saying that would happen to all of them, but the majority of them are going to spend that rebate that they're not using every month, or that they're getting back every month. So we will most likely, in my blonde brain, see a problem with evictions become because of that concession being offered. Don't do that. We're not corporate America. We're the little mom and pop guy. So there's other things that we can do. Some of the things that I suggest is doll your unit up. It doesn't cost a whole lot of money to put lipstick on a pig. If we put in $20 USB charging outlets in various places in the house, like the kitchen, the master bedroom, the living room, where do you charge your electronical devices? Where do you do it? I mean, everybody's different, right? We all have an area we do that in. Kitchen, living room, master bedroom, put one in even in the other bedrooms, okay? Just one per room. I'm not telling you to change every outlet in the house. If you put 5 in, you spend $100 if you do it yourself. Big deal. We've spent more than $100 on a lot worse things, okay? But now you're making it more attractive, and you can point out that you have USB charging ports in each room. Cost you $100. It sounds amazing, right? Oh, Patti, pay attention. There's all kinds of things that we can do to help make us look more attractive. The biggest things that we want to offer and biggest things that we want to talk about are, what is our competition being offered? We got to be just under them. Even if they're up for $12.95 a month, we want to be at $12.85 a month or $12.75 a month. We want to be just under what they're offering. We can also offer concessions like the first 6 months of pet rent is waived. After that, on the 7th month, it becomes this amount. Okay, so we're waiving things that we can waive parking fees. Okay, we can waive screening fees to help encourage people to come in. Okay, this isn't costing you a lot on your bottom line. And if you get a qualified tenant because of it, yeehaw. Okay. Also, light staging in all your vacant units. Do not leave them stark naked. Okay. It's unacceptable. What do I mean? Put in some fake flower plants. Put in some fake flower pots. Put in a couple of hand towels. Make sure it's a pop of color. If you have gray and white going on, use red, use blue, use a bright color. You want brightness, okay? What you're doing is attracting the woman's eye of going, oh, I wouldn't put those flowers here. I'd put them there. And I would put my kitchen table here. And once she starts placing furniture, you got a hook in, okay? Paying attention? So you don't want to necessarily stage the whole house full of furniture. That is not what I'm telling you to do. If you cannot pack it all up and put it back in your car in the same trip, the day you move them in one trip, you're doing it wrong. Okay? I'm talking about adding toilet paper, hand soap, so somebody needs to wash their hands, and put a nice designer hand soap so when they walk in the kitchen and see hand soap and a towel, it looks pretty. Okay? You can also set up 1 or 2 place settings with just the placemat, the cup, the bowl, the plate, and just make it look pretty. Okay? Just for 2 placemats on the counter and put the plates on them and make them look great. Light staging. It does wonders. And put in that pop of color. Okay? Put in a shower curtain. I know it's not required. It's freaking $10. Make sure it's bright. Make sure it's beautiful. Make sure it's not drab and it's not just white on white on white on white, because it is very cleanly to the eye, but also it's very hospital-like. It can also be uninviting because it's so stark white and sterile environment looking. Sometimes people find that uninviting. They want color. So give them some. And try to avoid colors that people can find offensive, and stick more with colors that blue, red, green, you know what I mean? I wouldn't put black roses in a property if you're trying to attract somebody to rent it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think black roses are beautiful, but it's not Halloween anymore, and somebody may find it morbid. Okay. It's also very important when they walk in the property, it has a good smell. Okay. Sometimes them sitting there all locked up for a while, they smell dusty, dirty, musty, moldy. I mean, it just happens. Okay. They've been locked up instead of aired out. You need to get there before the appointment. Air it out. Turn on various lights so when they come in, it's already on. It's already looking good. Okay. Febreze is your friend. Put in those freaking plugins. A welcome doormat. Yes, these are all things we can do to make it more inviting, okay? And ask yourself the one question I always say is, look, this is more costly, but I added a cement pad because the parking was awkward, but that's what they noticed and collected their application yesterday. Good job. So we got to pay attention to the things that we don't like about the property and do something to change them. If we do something to change those things that we didn't like about the property and now we like it, you know what? Somebody else is going to like it too. If you wouldn't live there, we need to fix that, okay? Because nobody else wants to live there either. You understand what I'm saying? Does this make sense? Okay, as far as marketing. Discounted parking fees, discounted rent, pet fees, inquire within. Makes them call you, makes them contact you, gets them in there, okay? That's the whole idea of this, right? I'm going to tell everybody one that you're not going to like, but it's going to make sense to you at the end of what we say. And you need to pay attention because there's moving pieces to this one, okay? So if you're taking notes, get out your paper. You're going to need it. Sometimes we can advertise with a lower security deposit, and it helps tremendously. Hear me out. I already hear you guys. Patti, we already got reduced to only 1 month's rent as a security deposit. Hold on. Slow down. Wait a minute. Okay? I'm not done talking yet. I can already hear you bitching at me. All the way from your own living room. Okay. A security deposit in a perfect world doesn't belong to us. Who's it belong to? The tenant. That's right. It's not our money. Okay? Hold on. So if we offer something like $500 security deposit moves you in on approved credit, OAC, it needs to be behind there in whatever you're doing that you're going to ask for a higher FICO score for. What is the OAC for $500 security deposit? It's that you have a FICO score of 750 or higher. Okay, thank you very much. No problem. You can still apply if you have less than that, and we could still qualify you if you meet our criteria, but you may not qualify for the lower security deposit. That's only on approved credit. OAC. We see it on car advertisements all the time. In a perfect world, that's not our money. It's a tenant's money. And I'll tell you right now, in my career, in a bad market in 2006, 2007, and 2008, I was doing $500 security deposits like they were going out of style. Okay? And do you know who I was hitting? All the people that needed to rent that had really good credit. Or the owners that lost property during the foreclosure wave. Okay, that's who I was getting as applicants. So the ones that had the higher FICO score, I took the $500 security deposit. I will tell you now, honestly, I must have taken over 100 of those, okay? I only had charges come out of 2 of them, and both of them were for carpet cleaning, and they told me about it. Somebody with a high FICO score doesn't want to mess up their high FICO score. If somebody that has a high FICO score like that and exceeds your criteria, it's their money anyway. You're not giving away anything. They're still responsible for damage. They're still responsible for rent. And now they have a higher FICO score and a better chance that you can go after them for the debt they leave you. Okay? It's not just thinking about this situation, it's thinking about the long-term situation as well. You have a better chance getting the money out of them if they screw the house up, if they have a really good FICO score. Okay? Everybody paying attention? I know it's not what you want to hear because we're trying to grab a hold of that deposit money, but it brings in a different tenant, a different attitude of a tenant. Does that make sense? Most people with that kind of FICO score don't live there for very long. They only live there for a year or two, and it's so that they're ready to buy a house when they're ready. And that's the kind of applicant that you are receiving, or someone that is losing their home, lost their home, and they don't qualify for the higher credit score, but the only thing that's wrong on their credit is the foreclosure, and now they're claiming bankruptcy. Heck, you might as well. You just lost $500,000 you claimed. You know what I mean? So when we start to see that happen in the industry, be prepared for it. It's going to be more than you imagined. Okay? Anybody have questions? Any more thoughts, opinions, ideas?
Patti, do you let people use the restroom when they're touring?
You almost have to. If you don't, that's just bad. I mean, look at it this way. What if they came an hour or 2 hours because they're relocating to your area and they want to rent your house? Do you have to pee after 2 hours in the car? I do.
I usually say yes, like we're all human, so it's like, yes, of course. But what sucks though is when
They make a mess and you have to go back and clean it or hire someone
and there's
to clean it.
urine on the floor. I'm like, what the heck? Like, what? I don't know.
Right. So here's me talking to you. I carry Clorox wipes in my car. I carry Windex in my car. I carry paper towels in my car. I carry a broom in my car, a dustpan in my car. Hold on, I'll give you the other stuff that's in my car. 409, because you can mop a floor with 409. No joke. Okay? You can mop a floor with Windex. Okay? I will never forget. I had this gentleman I worked with. I love him dearly to this day. Okay. And I called him 7-Eleven because his mouth never closed. And I realized later it was a horrible thing to call him because he was a Middle Eastern man and people thought I was being offensive, and I wasn't. I called him 7-Eleven because he never shut up. His mouth just kept yap, 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 yap all the time. Okay. It wasn't to be offensive because of his ethnicity at all. Okay. And this man had to show property in the Victorville area during a snowstorm. Okay. And it wasn't much. I mean, I'm from Big Bear. We had like 4 to 6 inches. It melted the next day. Not a big deal. Okay. And he comes running in the office and he says, Patti, I need your help. These people are tracking in snow everywhere. It's everywhere. It's making a mess on the floors. It's making a huge mess. And my immediate thought is, it's water. It's the desert. It'll melt. It's not a big deal. We'll clean it up after it melts, right? I lived in the mountains for a long time. It's not a big deal. So I'm being very funny with him and I say, oh, well, you should put your jacket down so they could wipe their feet on it. And he goes, oh, I should put my jacket down. They could wipe their feet on my jacket and then I won't make a mess in the house. And I said, yeah, that's a great idea. Yes, use your jacket. Put your jacket down. Let them wipe their feet. He looks me dead in the face and goes, Patti, may I please borrow your jacket? Little shit. Sorry. He was very funny in his own little way. May I please borrow your jacket? No. So yes, I have funnies from my previous. Yes, I vinyl gloves are a great thing to have in your bag. COVID mask is a great thing to have in your bag. Vicks Vapor Rub is a great thing to have in your bag. They make something else now, so you don't have to use Vicks Vapor Rub anymore because it just makes me nauseous. I don't like the smell. There's something about that mentholatum that just makes me think of sickness and illness, and then I'm like, oh God, I'm going to be sick. So it just, yeah. I don't remember what it's called, and I can go look it up if anybody wants it, but just hear me out, okay? They now make plastic nose rings, and don't laugh at me. They're clear and see-through, and you just put it through this way. You don't have to poke yourself with a ring. It just like kind of clips on the inside of your nose right here. And they put essential oils infused in that little thing, and it's clear so nobody can see it. And it just, I don't know if you guys can see. Think of like a nose ring, like a horseshoe, and it just goes bloop right there, okay? And holds itself into your nose. Why would you do that? For when you have to smell stinky things, okay? I would have loved to shove one of those right up my freaking nose, right? And they come in lavender, orange, lemon, eucalyptus. They have them for calming. They have them for nurses are starting to use them under their masks. Makes sense, especially when they're dealing with bodily fluids, and we'll leave it at that. Things of that nature, but it just makes sense. So yes, go look them up. I can find, I want to say it's called Essence. Essence? Look up scented nose rings. There you go. Disposable
Yeah, it's
scented
called
nose rings.
Essence.
Oh, there you go. I found it. Okay, yay! I did good. But I now have a couple of packets of those that I keep in my emergency kit in case I have to go in somebody's stinky ass house and I don't want to be gagging there. You know what I mean? And thank you guys all for understanding. Sometimes when we go in these properties, they're bad, okay? Bad. Bad. I got stories. Oh man, I got stories. I got stories that are inappropriate for children. I got stories. Let me see who's still in this meeting. There's still 14 people in here. I don't want to offend anybody. If anybody's easily offended, now would be a good time to turn off. I was in a house once that had a pack rat. And I mean pack rat. It took her 36 days to get all the stuff out from the inside of the property, let alone the garage. And it was stacked ceiling to floor. No joke. There were pathways all through the house like a maze. And one would go this way and then one would go this way. And then it was easy to get lost in there. It was like a maze. No joke. And one of the employees, because I was a supervisor, came over and said, there's a sexual device sitting out in plain sight. And I walked over there and I was like, I don't know where you think that's a sexual device, sir, but that is not a sexual device. It doesn't look comfortable. And he goes, it is. I swear it is. And he pushed the edge of the table it was on and it fell on the floor. And I looked at him and I said, well, I'm going to trust you here and I'm not going to pick that up and put it back. And he said, well, what are you going to do with it? And I'm like, they're not going to notice that it fell off on the floor. Look at this place. And I just went, that's so gross. And he went to kick it with his foot. And when he did, it turned on and it took off and went behind a dresser and was making a bunch of noise behind a dresser. And we left laughing. So I got stories for days. I've never seen something like that take off on the floor like a go-kart. It was gone. Funniest thing I've seen in my life. Okay, I won't talk about anything that's inappropriate anymore. Julia, I just read your thing about essence and I realize it's about essence and not just what I just said. Cuz that's pretty funny. I forgot to ask you for the rental application I collected yesterday. Do I need to disclose to the applicants? Aiden, I'm doing a live webinar. Can you try to be quiet, please? Thank you. I forgot to ask you for the rental application I collected yesterday. Do I need to disclose to the applicants that I'm related to the tenants in the ADU? No, it's none of their business. It's none of their business who lives where. They'll find out in time. If you're lucky, they won't find out at all. But they'll find out in time. I'll tell you guys, I don't even tell people I'm the owner of a property. I tell them I'm the property manager. Wait, what'd you say, Patti? Why? Wait, even on the properties you own? Yep, I tell them I'm the property manager. Because I always want somebody else to blame. That's why I tell you guys to use fogging techniques of let me talk to my business partner and I'll get back to you. They don't know if you have a business partner or not. That's none of their business. These people only know what you tell them. And what if they find out you're the owner? Well, I'm kind of the owner. I mean, it isn't a trust, but there's other people involved in that trust. It's not just me. See how that worked? I don't let people know that I'm the owner because when they catch you up or tongue tie you, it makes you look bad, right? The owner is the top of the totem pole as far as the property side of things go. So I like to hold them up a little bit higher than I hold myself so that I have somebody to blame. I'm sorry, I spoke with the owner and they're just not willing to credit you for having a dirty window at move-in. But they're not going to charge you if that window is dirty at move-out.
What if they say, I'd like to speak to the owner?
Unfortunately, that's what they hire me for, and I handle everything for them. We don't have direct communication, and that's why I'm here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
It's the same thing that we would say in corporate America. They're not going to talk to the owner of the apartment building. It's not going to happen.
They always wanted to talk to somebody like other than me because I was, like the punching bag in the office. And so it's like,
Correct.
okay, then I want to speak to the regional now. And, I want to speak to.
Exactly. So give yourself somebody to blame that they never get to talk to.
Okay.
There's other people involved in a trust. There's other people involved in an LLC. Okay, I'm just giving you guys different ways that you can approach those types of things when you get challenged. Anybody else want to banter with me about anything? Otherwise, I'm going to let you guys get off of here and tell you to enjoy your turkey day. Nobody? Nothing? Holly, did you get better ideas for getting your vacant rented?
Yes, those were all great. Thank you. I'm gonna zhuzh it up this weekend.
Okay, and let ChatGPT write your advertisement. Give it a few key things you want it to focus on, and then read it a few times and see if it sounds good.
Okay.
Okay? ChatGPT is our friend, you guys. I'm telling you. All right, you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I will see you next Wednesday. The installation breakfast is for AAGLA next Thursday morning. It is it is in Culver City, I want to say, at the Hilton Hyatt, something with an H. What's better than the Hyatt? The Hilton. I don't think they have Hyatts anymore. I don't know. It's at an H hotel. I think it's the Hilton. I'm just telling you guys because I'll be there. They're doing the installation breakfast for the upcoming board members. It's usually a really, really great breakfast. If you guys are up to having breakfast, I'd love to see you and sit and talk with you over in the corner. There'll be quite a bit of people there, so we could probably have our own little powwow going on, and nobody would notice. So if you guys are available, I'd love to see you for breakfast. That's Thursday next week. You have to sign up through AAGLA. It's their installation breakfast. All right, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Turkey Day. I love all of you. Have a great one, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.